Good evening, everyone. Hello, and welcome to my podcast, Buying and Selling with Bree. My name is Labrita Dews. I'm a realtor and owner of the KLS Realty Group. Let me just tell you a little bit about me. I have two special guests tonight. I am a retired Army. I spent 28 years in the military. I am currently a realtor in the Dallas Fort Worth area. I have been a realtor going on 10 years in October. I am that realtor that whatever you need, I will do everything that I can to get it done. If you are a first time buyer, seller, you're looking to lease, to buy, to sell, to rent, or if you just want information about down payment assistance, or if you have credit issues, I have someone for that. I have someone for that. I am also, too, a mentor to 10 agents in my brokerage. That is very pleasing to me, and I get excited when I see them do their first deal. I really do. I am a multi-million dollar top producer as well. So, saying that, if you are not sure what you want to do, whether you want a new build, the market has really, really changed. It is a very tight market out there. But if you want more information about new construction or just how to apply for a house or the steps to buying a home, just contact me at 817-975-9284, or you can go to my website and www.labritadues.com, or you can just go to my Facebook business page, Labrita, the KLS Realty Group, and just inbox me and I will give you a call there. Like I said, tonight we have two special guests. His name is Ken, better known as the Waffle Man. His business is located in Cedar Hill, Texas. We're going to talk to him for about 10 minutes. He's going to talk to you about his business. He's going to let you know where his business is located. My second guest is definitely who you all are wanting to talk to and ask questions about. He is a lender. It is Mont Mathis. He is the senior loan officer with Nexa Mortgage. Without further ado, let me bring you up, Ken, the Waffle Man.
You doing? How you doing?
Hi, Ken. How are you doing? And welcome, welcome, and thank you so much for coming on my podcast. And just like
Thank you
with
for
Kesha,
having me.
Miss Kesha is a person, she loves promoting businesses, and when she'll put out in the group, somebody wants to talk about their business. I am always obliged to help anyone that's trying to promote their business.
Great.
So, if you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been in business, and where is your business located, and what do you serve in your restaurant?
Okay, yeah. Right now, I'm a wholesaler caterer. Ken's Famous Waffles. I've been in business since May 2019. It kind of was by accident. I'm an author. I've written two books on relationships. I always thought my claim to fame was going to be into being hosting forums and book clubs and those type of things. But working in mortgage, we had a Cinco de Mayo spread, and I volunteered to bring my waffles. And with me being a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, I had a coworker there who was a Cowboys fan. So
Hmm.
after tasting the waffles, everybody was so uh, amazed and impressed by the flavor. He made a profound statement to me at that time. He was saying, Ken, it's just like you, a Steelers fan, sleeping on your gift. And when he said that, it kind of just slapped me in the face, and bells and light bulbs started going off. And I really thought maybe this is my ticket. So I researched everything, got my LLC, my EIN. I started researching wholesale pricing and all of these
Hmm.
type of things. And I begun selling 32-ounce jars of pre-made batter. And again, that was in May 19th, 2019. And I've been in for about 2 years now. Started out with about 10 jars a month to right now, I'm averaging about 50, 55 jars a month sold.
Okay.
I'm in Cedar Hill. And just in the beginning of May, I began offering waffles and wings plates where you get a whole Belgian waffle, two whole jumbo wings, fries, and that's for a value of $12. So I'm really excited about it, and I really love the reactions that I get.
Okay, we have a question for you. Do you cater or you cook for private parties?
I do. I have the largest that I've cooked for at this time was 55 people. I just did an event yesterday for a birthday brunch. I also will host book club meetings and provide food, with my books and whoever books you have. So yes, I do offer catering. It's a chicken, waffles, catfish, shrimp. Those are on the menus, and they're all priced on my website, www.kensfamouswaffles.com.
Can you repeat that again so it can be put in the comments, please? What is
Absolutely.
okay?
Uh, just kensfamouswaffles.com, or you can put the www.kensfamouswaffles.com.
Okay. Do you have any social media pages or anything?
I do, and it's the same name from Instagram. It'll be Ken's underscore famous underscore waffles. Uh, Facebook, you can follow me personally at Waffle Man. You'll see a picture of me there with my T-shirt on, or for my fan page on Facebook, it's Ken's Famous Waffles.
Okay. So when the pandemic hit, how did that affect you, or did it not affect you, or did it grow your business?
It grew my business. A lot of people were at home and they wanted good food. So what better food to eat all day than Ken's Famous Waffles? So my sales did increase. I ran certain specials, 2-for-1s. We had a few holidays that came through during that time. And then me trying to start a new tradition, because the Friday breakfast after Thursday Thanksgiving is just as important as the meal on Thursday. So I ran a few commercial ads that I had created with me and a camera guy that I know, and that did real well also.
Okay. So do you have a truck? Or are you mobile, or do you have a place where people can come in and sit down? Or
I'm right now. I'm a cottage seller. As
mm-hmm.
far as wholesale, I do sell plates from home, but I am going into different venues. I went out to VIP Nutrition and served food there. At
Okay.
Attache Lounge, I've sold plates and as a vendor. The Daiquiri Shop, and off of Frankfurt, and they also own a facility in Grand Prairie. So I have ventured out and did joint ventures with other Black-owned businesses.
Okay. What do you mean by cottage vendor? What do you mean by that?
I'm at home. It's kind of like the cottage lodge. I'm a home base.
Oh,
The,
okay. Okay.
so that
Okay. Okay. So if someone wanted to just pick up a few places, you'll meet them, or will they come to your residence, or do you have
no,
a special
no,
place to meet them?
exactly. Yes, ma'am. No, it's only pickup now because Dallas is so vast, and I don't want to really compromise the flavor and the crispness of the waffle. So it's only pickup on
Okay.
Wednesdays and Thursdays from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay.
All right. And once the order is placed, customer service will then send you an email confirmation as well as a text confirmation. And at that time, the pickup arrangements will be scheduled.
Okay. So can you repeat that again so it can be put in the feed? So what
Yes, ma'am.
time do you serve again?
11.
And
Yes,
what
ma'am.
days and what time?
Yes, ma'am. Wednesdays and Thursdays from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. You can do the pickups for the hot plates.
Okay.
I want to open up on Saturday and on Sunday, but I get so many events that I have to cater that it really compromises me having to do all the prep for events. So it's kind of hard to manage that. But 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Wednesdays and Thursdays. Now, as far as the 32-ounce jars, they are
Mm-hmm.
offered. They're available for pickup and delivery. And each 32-ounce jar of pre-made batter is good for 15 days refrigerated. They can
Okay.
also be frozen as long as you thaw them out for 24 hours in the refrigerator.
Okay. So do you cook to order your food, or the food is already prepared, but do you cook to order?
Yes, ma'am. Cook the order. That's why we arrange the times because I want to prep it. I want to prepare it for you right when you get here. You may have to wait a minute because I want to do the waffles at the very last time point of
Uh-huh.
that. But yes, that's when you'll get it, and that's why we schedule the pickup times.
During the COVID, there were a lot of businesses, black owned, every type of race. A lot of businesses were developed
Grew
in
up.
COVID, and a
Mhm.
lot of people, did well. Since COVID
Exactly.
is over, are you still getting that same consistency as your business, or has it changed?
No, it's the same consistency, if not more, because networking, how I promote and market and network allows it to grow. If on my page you'll see that I take videos and post videos of people's first taste reaction.
Yes, I saw
And
that.
the key to that is not only do I friend that individual, I make sure that I tag mutual friends that we may share, and then also a few other people to kind of see it. And then you go into a lot of these Dallas Black restaurant type groups and make
Hmm.
sure you post it there. Friend the admins. You got to always friend request and befriend the admin so
Yes.
your post doesn't sit, And it's just strategies, and as well as um, just having a pretty expensive following on Instagram as well as Facebook.
Okay, so like when you said you hold your events, as far as price wise, I know things change, the price of food is changing just like everything else. Is there like a basic price that you have for like a group of 10? And what will that does it consist of, the entire menu, or do you have like, for this amount you get this, for this amount you get that? Is it, or you can set it up the way that you want to set it up?
You set it up the way you want to. The first question I'm going to ask is how many people and what items do you want? Not
Okay.
everyone serves want everything on the menu. Some people just want the waffle. Okay, well, if you're just wanting the waffle and you want just the jars and I don't have to do any labor, then I'm just going to sell to you as a complete wholesale. Buy the jars,
Okay.
you can do what you
Okay.
wish.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And
Yes.
if I have to serve there, then and it's the whole thing. You're going to average probably $20 per person. That's the average rate. That would include prep, time, cook, gas, everything in the food.
Okay, okay. So do you, they have to still select their own venue. You're just come and prepare the food and set it up. It's like buffet style when you come, when you do the catering, it's still buffet style. You have servers and everything else, or do they
I,
have to provide the service?
no, no, no. It just all depends on what they want. I do have servers. We do have a team.
Okay.
So if they're wanting me to bring the food and serve it as well, then we'll have all the hot trays and everything going. And I usually do waffles live. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
pre-cook waffles. I can keep chicken warm. You know what I mean? I can keep catfish or shrimp, slightly warm. We have warmers there. Uh, but waffles are going to be cooked live.
Okay, that was going to be my question, because waffles do get cold. So the waffles at any catering event, it will be cooked as you requested.
Absolutely. I'll
Okay.
have a mount because each jar makes about you get 24 waffles out of a gallon.
Okay.
So I can kind of gauge that 32 ounces makes six.
Okay.
So I can kind of gauge how much volume or quantity I need and how many waffle lines I need to take with me, and I'll be able to serve how many other people I need to take care of.
Okay, this is really really good stuff. The comments and everything, everyone is excited again. So just do me one time, where are you located, your phone number, your websites, and your social media pages.
Absolutely. Ken's Famous Waffle is located in Cedar Hill, Texas. Um, the website is just simple. The name kensfamouswaffles.com. That's also the name that you can find me under in Instagram. Um, Ken's underscore famous underscore waffles. And then also my personal page, I am the Waffle Man. If you just look up Waffle Man, you'll find me. And then also on uh, Facebook, you can see Ken's Famous Waffles. We're serving hot plates Wednesdays and Thursdays, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. That will be a whole Belgian waffle, 2 jumbo wings, and fries. We also have the 32-ounce jars of waffle mix. Um, both are for $12, and you can get them right at my website.
Okay, all right. Let me say this. I'm gonna come to Cedar Hill. I'm gonna place an order. I'm gonna come and try your food, and I will be glad to do a live video. And I also want to thank you so much for taking time out to come to my podcast and introduce your business. If you want to come back next month, just let me know, and I'll have you back, or just let me know, and
Oh,
I will
absolutely.
bring you back. I will
Hey,
bring
I
you back.
appreciate you allowing me to be on your venue. I really do, and your
Oh, you're
platform.
so welcome. You're so welcome. Again, y'all, everyone give the Waffle Man a round of applause and go try his food out. Go try his food out. And I'm pretty sure with all the reviews and the videos that I saw, look, we
You
like
know.
it as good. And
Ah,
thank you
hey,
so much. I really appreciate you for taking time to come to my webcast, Buying and Selling with Bree.
yes, ma'am, and thank you for your service.
You are so welcome and thank you.
All right.
All right. Okay, guys, up next, we have Mr. Mont Mathis. He is the senior loan officer at Nexus Mortgage. This day and time, please ask any and all questions that you have. He's going to give out his information. But with the market is like it is, this is the man of the hour. This is who we need to buy a house. Without further ado, Mr. Demont Mathis, please welcome, welcome, welcome. We can't hear you.
Thank you very much. How's everyone doing?
How's it going? How's it going today? And thank you so much for uh coming to my podcast. I so greatly appreciate it. I so greatly appreciate it.
I appreciate the
You
invite.
know, the walker, the way the market is today, um, buyers, 42 offers on one property. I mean, it's just ridiculous out there. Just not enough houses. It's more buyers than it is sellers.
Right.
Right now the sellers are only taking conventional loans over the FHA loans.
Right.
In saying that, please explain to the audience why sellers are taking conventional loans over FHA loans, and then we'll get back to the FHA loans.
Okay. Well, I mean, as far as the conventional appraisal is a lot easier than an FHA appraisal. So if you look at a buyer that has someone that, first of all, it's not even just conventional, it's cash buyers first, then
Yes,
conventional. And then
yes,
FHA and VA are totally last, but mainly because of the appraisal. As you can see, a lot of these buyers are waiving their appraisals, they're waiving their inspections. And I'm sure as a realtor, you're kind of like against that, waiving those rights for you because those rights are there to protect you as a home buyer. But when they waive those rights or whatnot, some of the things that they're waiving, like the inspection, is going to tell you what's wrong with the property, give or
right,
take, before the appraisal is done. So if it's waived and we do an FHA appraisal and there are some things that need to be fixed in that house on that property, the seller is going to say, well, you waived your right to this, so I'm not going to fix this. Well, in order to get that appraisal to clear it through FHA, you have to fix it. Otherwise, they're just going to walk away from it. So conventional is just the easiest loan to do. One, because you're talking about better credit scores. You're talking about a lower debt to income ratio. And a lot of times you're talking about someone that has at least 5%
okay,
to put down with other reserves and stuff. So it's just an easier loan to do per se. Now, I don't personally agree with that just because, again, I have a lot of FHA loans that I do, and sometimes FHA is just a better loan for the buyer. Because I have clients now that can go either FHA or conventional, but if I can get them a better rate and take them FHA, where there's a difference of maybe a half a point, and a three, four, $500,000 house, that half a point is a huge deal when we're talking about your monthly payment. So essentially, if I want to take you FHA, to me, some cases that can be a better loan. It just depends on the client and what we're looking at.
okay. I have a question first, and then I'm going to ask you a question from the audience. as far as on the conventional loan, if they when they bypass the appraisal and inspection, that goes through underwriting, or is that a certain form that you have to sign? I know it's the appraisal addendum, but is there something that the buyers need when they bypass the appraisal? I mean, when they bypass the inspection on your end? Because when
Well,
they go out there to do a conventional loan and say the appraisal say, oh, the air conditioner is broken, being that they bypass the inspection, how does that fly?
so the way it works is when you say they bypass the appraisal,
And the inspection.
they're not bypassing the appraisal per se. We still got to do an appraisal because at the end of the day, the lender, we want to make sure that the property is going to appraise or what it's going to appraise for. So an example, $300,000 property, right? We got a contract for 300,000.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that it appraised for 290, but the buyer waived it, which is really not the correct term, but let's just say waived the appraisal.
Uh-huh.
So pretty much what they're doing is they're agreeing to bring that additional $10,000 or whatever it appraised for, the additional dollar amount that is short. So again, if it's a $300 sales price, $300,000 sales price, and appraised for 290, then that's an additional 10 grand that the buyer is talking about bringing to closing, right? So when you start talking about additional problems, the AC unit went out, or foundation issues, whatever it may be, those are things that the buyer are going to have to eat because they signed that waiver saying that they was going to give up on that. I mean, that they were going to bypass the inspection.
Okay, so how does that different with the FHA when they bypass on an FHA loan? Can you bypass the inspection?
Well, I mean, you can bypass the inspection. On the inspection is to protect you as a homeowner. If you
Right.
decide that you don't want the inspection, that's a decision that you made. The inspection is not, it's not something that is required. However, when the appraisal is done, a lot of things that come up on the inspection report could be on the appraisal. The appraiser could go in and see that there's wood rot, or there are cracks in the foundation, or things like that, or some things missing in the attic, or some wires that need to be replaced. So in saying that, the inspection would typically catch a lot of that, so that the buyer could say, hey, we need for you guys to replace this. Or if they're comfortable, say, okay, well, I can pay for that, so I'm not concerned with that. But ultimately speaking, when the FHA appraisal is completed, that appraiser can have some of those things outlined in this appraisal and can have it set up as a subject to, meaning that those things have to be replaced, and he or she would have to come back out in order to give the final approval.
So on that FHA, bypassing the appraisal and the inspection, what if the seller don't want to agree to fix anything because they bypassed the appraisal? So does that FHA appraisal still last for 6 months, or with that information on it, or how does that work?
Well, for FHA, yes. I mean, the appraisal is going to last. So let's say that the buyer walks away, and let's just say 30 days later, a new buyer pops up. All right. Well, as soon as they do the contract, that FHA case number is going to be assigned, and it's going to be an appraisal attached to it. So what has to happen is they're going to have to contact that lender, pay for that appraisal in order to have the appraisal transferred from there. Now, if they happen to go conventional, then you can order a new appraisal.
Right.
So you don't have to worry about it. So that's why a lot of times, or in this market now that you're saying that, that's why they are bypassing FHA altogether, because they don't want to deal with that. So that's the biggest problem right now, just because of that.
Okay, so I have two questions. The first
Okay.
question is the FICO score. It says, is it needed or vintage score? Is it FICO that's needed or vintage score? That's the question.
That's a tough question to ask from me, because I'm a little different when it comes to that. For your credit score, what I tell my clients is go to myfico.com. And what myfico.com does is it gives you your mortgage score, it gives you the score for auto, it gives you the score for credit cards and other types of loans. What a lot of people don't understand is there are different scoring models out there. So somebody will call you and say, well, hey, my credit score is 725, right? First thing I'm asking is, where are you looking? Are you looking on your, your credit card, the deal that you got through your credit card company? Are you looking at Credit Karma? Because those are all viable credit reports, right? And credit scoring systems, but it's not the mortgage scoring system. So what I do is I send them a copy of our mortgage, of our credit report, and I show them, like, right next to Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, it gives you the scoring model that is used. The mortgage industry uses the same scoring model. So if I pull your credit, or Joe Blow from ABC Mortgage Company in Hackensack, New Jersey, pull your credit score, I mean, it's going to be the same score. It's nothing different. However, if you go and have someone from an auto industry, when you're trying to buy a car, pull your score, it may be different. So a lot of times people be confused and say, well, my credit score is this. That's not the case. So again, what I do is to give them that idea is I educate them, one, on it. And I got this for my credit guy. But I educate them about it initially, and then I show it to them by having them to go in, especially if you're trying to buy a house, go to myfico.com, sign up for that service. It's $43 or something like that, $43 a month. But what it does is it gives you every score that you need for any industry in which you're trying to get a loan for. That way you can't confuse what your actual score is, because you're going to see different credit scores for different industries.
Okay, so the My FICO, that goes for all lenders, or just you, or all lenders use that?
No, all lenders don't use that. I just use that because, to me, that's a segue to educating my buyers on the difference between the credit scores, because it can be quite confusing. Now, as a lender, I try to tell people I stay in my lane. Credit it's not my game. Now, my credit guy has educated me, and educated me enough to be able to have a conversation. But when it get a little too hairy about the different this, different that, I tend to refer them to him to ask. But my go-to is always my FICO, because my FICO is going to basically give you the outline of what you need in order to see exactly what your scores are. Because you don't have to worry about the Mont Mathis or Jimmy so-and-so or such and such giving you credit scores. If you sign up for myfico.com, what happens, you can go in and you can log in and see exactly what your score is anytime you want to for any industry in which you're trying to apply for a loan. In addition to that, what it also does is, if something hits your credit, something's removed from your credit, it gives you alerts for all of that. It's a great tool for anybody, not just trying to buy a house, but a great tool for anyone that's credit conscious.
Okay, so on the student loan issue, there are some questions about the student loan. What
game changer?
It's a game changer. Can you kind of go into detail as much as you can to explain that to the audience?
Well, okay. So in the past, when student loan debt was almost like a silent funeral. It was the death blow, especially for my sisters and brothers out there that are educators, that have literally anywhere between 80 to hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loan debt. It broke my heart to not be able to qualify someone, because we had to count 1% of their student loan debt against their debt to income ratio. And we're talking about student loan debt that may have been in a deferred status or possibly in an income-based repayment plan, the whole nine. But FHA didn't care. It's 1%. So if you had $100,000 in student loan debt, we had to count $1,000 against your debt to income ratio. And then, let's be honest, as a teacher, depending on what you're doing, that's pretty tough to overcome on your debt, especially if you have car payments and credit cards and things of that nature, just everyday living, right? And then when we look at conventional, on the other hand, it was a lot easier for conventional, because conventional, it was 1% if it was in a deferred status. But if you were in an income-based repayment plan, and whatever's on the credit report, as long as you had documentation showing that your income-based repayment plan was amortized over a certain amount of time, or what have you, if the documents that you have say that your payment was $0, then guess what? We can go to $0. But the only time that changed would be if you were in deferred status. Same thing with FHA. The only way you can get around the 1% with FHA is if it was amortized. It was an amortized payment. So if you had $100,000 in debt and your amortized payment schedule, payment was, 350, then we can use the 350 instead of the $1,000 a month payment. However, you had to make at least set up in the repayment plan and make at least one payment.
Okay.
And then but now the game changer is it's a 0.5%. So instead of charging somebody that has $100,000 in debt, now we can charge a 0.5%, which will basically be 500. So literally what I'm having to do now is I'm having to go back through a lot of loans that I had buyers that were on the cusp, but they had a ton of student loan debt. I'm having to go in and change all of that, and DTIs are dropping like crazy.
That's good. That's good. So on the FHA, in other words, it just cut the payment in half.
Pretty much.
Just what it was.
It went from 1% to a 0.5%.
Okay, and that is a game changer because sometimes that $500. I mean, some people were just, and some of them still with the $500, they're gonna be right there.
Yeah, I mean, and it's tough because if you think about it, we're talking about counting a debt that theoretically you're not even paying on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So you like $500. That's $500 could be going someplace else, but I won't even pay on my student loan debt right now because it's in a deferred status. So why am I being hit for $500? But like I tell my buyers, you have to understand the government is not going to allow you to get them twice. If you have a loan with the government, they want to make sure that loan is going to be repayable. Otherwise, they're going to tax you for it just in case.
Okay.
It's always a just in case.
It is always a just in case. So why is it that the FHA loans are not being taken? Is it because it's just too much stipulations, or the sellers don't want to be bothered with it and everything? And the conventionals, that's all they want. Conventionals. Is there a difference to the audience? Is there a difference in the down payment with the FHA and the conventional?
Yeah, I mean, well, with FHA is going to always be 3.5%. Conventional, you're talking about 3%, depending on the credit score, or 5%. The thing about conventional loans is, I have lenders because I have over 120 different lenders that I can shop with.
Okay. Right.
The thing of it is when you're looking at conventional, typically 640 is going to be the credit score in which you could go down to, right? However, what a lot of buyers don't understand is your PMI, or in this case, your MIP, which is the mortgage insurance premium, the insurance that's placed on it to protect the lender in case of default is going to be high because you're talking about a lower credit score. And if you're putting 5% down, they may tax you because of the loan to value because you're not putting down 20%. Okay. And your debt to income ratio, depending on what it is. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to take someone with a 640 conventional. Now, I have done it, and I have actually got a few loans that are closing in July that I had to do that for because of the loan limits. But going back to the question that you initially asked as to why are they not taking the FHA loans over the conventional, it's because, is FHA a more riskier loan? Yes, it is. But let's be honest, the loans were put out there because we have home buyers. We want everybody to be in homes, but lower credit scores because you can go down to 580. In some cases, you can go down to 500. I have a lender that'll go down to 500 if they got 10%. You're talking about a higher debt to income ratio, whereas with conventional, your DTI, which is the debt to income ratio, is 45%. With FHA, it's 57%. So we're talking about a 12% difference between conventional and FHA. That's a big number because you're talking about 57% of your income before taxes. Wow. That's going to be used to qualify you. Wow. So we're not even talking about after taxes. We're talking about before taxes. So that can be kind of dangerous from a standpoint of a lending aspect because you want to make sure that when you put someone in the home, they're going to be able to make those payments, and you don't want to set somebody up for failure because 3.5% down on a $300,000 house, that's $10,500. That's a lot of money. Then another 3% in closing costs. Right. Right. So ultimately, you're talking about somebody putting $20,000 into a house. You don't want to set them up for failure and repeat the cycle of 06. We don't want that again, right?
So I got a question for you. What are the top three things for loans right now being denied?
Um, I honestly I don't really do a lot of denials. And the reason being, I put together game plans in order to prevent that. So I guess the question would be, what are some of the things that are stopping some homeowners from purchasing right now if they're ready to
Right.
purchase right now?
Hmm.
So in saying that, a lot of times it's income, it's assets. Everybody would like to have down payment assistance, and I used to do a ton of DPAs, and and if I'm being honest with you, I think you and I had this conversation once. You know, the DPA was not made for someone not to come with anything, meaning
Right.
that it's a struggle to get you across the line when you get into a $300,000 house with no money out of pocket, and you're getting deep down payment assistance, and then you're borrowing money from this person and that. That's not what the program was meant for, and it's stressful on everybody involved, including the buyer. So, in terms of what I look at when I'm doing my loans, I'm looking at, do you have money? Do you have the income? And more importantly, how much are you wanting to pay? Because people will tell you they want a $350,000 house, but they don't want to pay nothing but $1,500 a month.
Yeah.
And that's not fair. You know, that's not fair to you as a realtor. So that's why I asked that question, because they'll have you out there searching for 350, knowing that they don't want that 350 payment because they don't know
Right.
what it is. So to answer the question again, we're talking about the debt to income ratio, income, which really ties into the DTI,
Right.
and assets, money that you may have in order to use for down payment or closing costs,
And credit. That is
and
another.
credit.
And
Yeah.
credit.
Yeah.
So speaking of credit, you say you have hundreds of lenders that you work with. Does each lender have their own requirement as far as getting approved? Or I know you can't answer that fully, but every lender that you have, like if somebody have a 580 credit score, you know which lender to send that to.
Right. I
If they
mean,
have a
here's the
580
thing.
credit score, you
I,
know
I
which
mean,
lender to send that to, right?
I do. I mean, I have a lender for just about every need.
Oh,
So, an example, if we're dealing with 640 credit scores on the FHA, anything over 640 for FHA, or anything above 680 going conventional. One lender I use, UWM, close them in 2 weeks. Just that
okay,
simple, right?
okay,
I mean, the rates are, you can't beat the rates, and they maneuver like a well-oiled machine. I'm talking about, you think you on an assembly line with the way they do things, right? You got a 600, credit score. I got a lender Orion that I use.
okay,
So for each specific need, I have a lender specifically for that situation.
okay. So every lender, so just say for instance on a conventional loan,
Mhm.
what is the minimum credit score, or is there not a minimum credit score? And what is the minimum credit score for like FHA?
Okay, well, for conventional, it's going to be 640. All right.
Okay. Okay.
For FHA, we can go all the way down to 500. Now, here's the thing: 500 credit score FHA, you're talking about 10% down. All
Yes.
right. Uh, if you don't want to put the 10% down, if you still want to stay within that 3.5% threshold, 580.
Okay.
Now, a lot of lenders are not doing that. Um,
Okay.
it's good that at this point I'm a broker, because I'm able to find the lenders that will, in order to help out and get that loan. But before, because when COVID took place, pre-COVID, 580 was the standard. 580 was like what 500 is today back then, right?
Okay.
Now, when you're talking about what a lot of other lenders are doing, they're taxing you a little bit at a 640. But I literally I think I priced out a loan a couple of days ago. It was a 601, I want to say, and I think the interest rate was like 3.25,
Oh,
which I'm like, that's crazy. But again, we have some really good lenders
okay.
because we get really good pricing.
Okay.
So as long as everybody have their ducks and ducks in a row or whatnot, there's a loan out there for anybody.
Okay. That was going to be my next question. The lower the credit score, is it going to be higher the interest rate, especially when they down to like 540 or 580? Is the interest rate going to be different, or they can still
Well,
get at 3% or 3.5%, or it really all depends on their debt and everything else?
it does. Here's the thing. So what happens is when you're talking about the pricing. So there are some key factors that take place when you think about the pricing in a whole. One, what is the loan to value, right? So if we're talking about putting 10% down, okay, let's say they put 20. So now they're going in with 20% down and they have a huge stake in the property. So that helps off the top, right? Two, if they have reserve. So we know that they got reserves. Now we know that the loan to value is 80% because they put 20% down. And now let's say, okay, they don't have a lot of debt. Maybe they just had, was married, had a bad divorce, and I mean it was crazy. That's why the credit score was affected so bad, right? So in a situation like that, we can look at potentially buying down the rate, or in this case, for us, rates are just still really low. So I'm not seeing a lot of 4% interest rates.
Okay.
Now, a place that I was at previously, our rates were a little higher. But again, we was dealing with a different market too.
Yes, yes. So another question we have: what are the reserves that you are required?
It depends. So just to give it to you, reserves is basically assets. Like if your money that you may have in your checking, your savings account, 401k, stocks, bonds, so forth and so on, right? We can even add gift funds, which is basically, money that's coming from a relative, right? In saying that, different lenders require different things. I can't tell you exactly what it would be because
Right,
what we do
right.
is we run DU, which is our desktop underwriter. That's what gives all lenders the form and to say that this, hey, the loan is approved is approved in order to move forward, right?
Okay.
It's not the final approval. It hadn't went to underwriting yet, but that is the premise in which the underwriter or the processor and the underwriter will follow, which is DU. DU will let us know, okay, everything looks good. We need for you to check verification of rent. We need for you to check the income. We need VOEs, which is verification of employments, and they need 2 months worth of reserves. So it'll let us know. A lot of times to come back, they don't need any reserves.
Okay. Okay. So what if somebody had what they call mattress money? How long does that mattress money has to be seasoned before they can purchase a home?
Woo, man, it's getting hot in here. Okay, so that mattress money, that wall money. Okay, what I would tell anybody that say they don't believe in banks, let's say it that way, right?
Yes, yes. They don't believe in
Um, they don't believe in banks. I would say that you want to at least have it in an account 3 months prior to you start looking
so the 90-day rule
because
does apply.
90 day rules. Because technically you need some lenders will require you have 60 days with the paychecks up. I mean, I'm sorry, with the bank statements, and
Uh-huh.
others will require 30 days. Shoebox money. There you go.
Yeah, yeah, shoebox money. Yeah, that's right.
Shoebox money. I like that better. Yeah, that's shoebox money, huh? Yeah. So I mean, it just really depends on the lender. But I would venture out. I tell anybody just make sure that you have it in the account at least 60 days prior to you start looking, so that when we ask for bank statements, we see the bank statements, the money is already there, and there's not a big deposit. Because a lot of times, what's going to happen is anything that's over anything that's actually over 1% of the sales price, or to make sure I got this right, 1% of the sales price, or equivalent to the earnest money, they're going to ask questions about it. They're going to source it. And then I'm talking about primarily looking at the bank statement,
Okay.
and they see these big deposits, we're going to have to source it, which basically sourcing mean that we need to know where it came from. There's a paper trail. Where did it come from?
So what is the thing about gift money? Because some people thinking, oh, my dad's gonna give me money, but he doesn't want to move it the day before closing. Can you explain to them when they do the gift money that Some lenders require evidence of where they got that money. Can you explain that to the audience, please?
Oh, absolutely. They all should be requiring that. All lenders going to require that because it's a guideline and not an overlay.
Okay.
But basically, what it is, it's if Mama want to give you $5,000,
Mm-hmm.
they can do one or two things. First they got to fill out the form, right? And basically, the form just outline who's giving the money, what the relationship is, bank information, name, number, address, and everybody signs, right? And you get the signatures. Once you have that letter, the gift letter form, then you either make a decision on if they want to give you the money. So if they give you the money, that means that we need to get a bank statement from the gifter showing the money coming from the account. At the same time, we need your bank statement, full bank statement at that, showing the money being deposited into the account. So it's a total paper trail. Or the easiest route is they can just wire it to the title company at closing.
Okay. So how far in advance, like if they got 2 weeks before closing, how far you in advance require the gift money for proof of funds? Like if somebody say, "Oh, I just didn't have enough money at closing," then the dad say, "Well, I'm gonna go borrow the money. You just pay me back." Does that debt count against the buyer, or does that debt count against the person that borrowed the money? If he borrowed the money
As
to give to the buyer.
as their lender, you know what I'm telling them?
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me that.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you why. You don't want once an underwriter sees something, they can't unsee it, right?
Exactly.
So essentially, you don't want the underwriter catching wind that your gift funds came from money being borrowed. Now, mind you, again, we got to keep in mind that the same thing applies for the gifter. If there's a big deposit on their, on their bank statement, they're gonna want to know where that money came from. So it works for them the same way I was saying before, that you have to have that money seasoned for at least 2 months prior to you saying that you're going to be a gifter. But going back to what you're saying, as far as if it's 2 weeks before closing, as a lender, I'm asking, okay, Pop, where's the money coming from?
Right.
Because we still got to source it from you. So if you're gonna borrow the money or whatnot, that underwriter is going to find out about it because they're going to be asking questions about where's the money coming from. So now we have to be thinking, okay, what else do you have? Is there someone else? The person that you borrowing it from, perhaps maybe that need to be the person that you get the gift funds, but we also got to keep in mind too that it has to be family.
Yes. It's so. I have a question here for you. It says, "What type of programs does does Demont Company offer for people with low credit scores, and how do you enroll?" Could you please give them your information, your website, or so Kesha can post it, and or they can
Absolutely.
contact you.
All right, I give you my application link. So to answer that question, when you ask what type of programs does the company offer, Nexa offer a lot of different things, but in terms of with low credit, that's going to be on your. I would like to say that's on your loan officer. What I do is I take home buyers and I don't turn anybody down. So let's just say you call me and we looking at your credit. The credit score is a 540, right?
Okay.
First thing you're thinking like, oh man, I can't buy a house with 540. My first conversation to you is that's not true. Let's look and see what type of debt do you have. Do you have good debt or do you have bad debt? Because there is a such thing as good and bad debt. Secondly, do you have a lot of debt or do you have very little? Most people don't understand that somebody that don't have very much debt, that's a harder sell in order to get someone credit improved because we don't have anything to fix. Whereas somebody that has a ton of debt, we can start doing some things to get that debt removed and increase their credit score. So the first thing I do what's called a credit analysis. I try to see if there's anything that we can do, meaning can we pay down some debt? Can we add a credit card? Can we do a number of different things in order to increase the score. If we can do that, we put that game plan together, we work together and get it done. If that doesn't happen, that's when I call my credit guy. I don't know if I can say his name or not, but we come. Okay, I call my credit guy, Justin Merch, with Creative Credit Solutions, and we go from there. I start sending the information. Well, with your approval, I send your information to him. He would give you a call within 24 hours. He'll go over a game plan. Now, the thing about his game plan is the game plan is going to be honest. So if you don't qualify, he will tell you. If you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, he's not going to take your money. He's going to tell you, hey, I need you to do these items here. Once you got that done, give me a call in 3 months. We'll revisit and see how you're looking, right? But let's just say that he identifies some things and he tells you, well, look, this is going to be a 6-month job and it's going to cost X amount of dollars. The first thing I tell my guys, look, he ain't cheap and he's not expensive, but he's damn fair for what he does, right? Because we've been 1,000. 3 years working with my man. I've never had anybody I've sent to him that used his program that he did not send back, including myself. And I'm being honest, So I can tell you firsthand what type of work my guy does, and we go from there. So in saying that, what he'll do is he'll take control over what you have. And if Bree is your realtor, she's going to have a link to follow everything that he's doing on your credit along with you as the client and along with me as the lender. Therefore, all 4 of us, because we're a team, your lender, your realtor, your credit guy, and you as the buyer, we're all synced as a unit, and we're watching your credit improve week after week. So when it's time for him to let you go, he'll give me a call. Hey, Demont, such and such is ready. It's time for you to pull up credit. Then that same phone call comes to Bree. Hey, Bree, such and such is ready. Y'all can go ahead and start looking for houses, and just make it that easy.
As far as like closings, how quickly can you close? 30 days, 21 days, depending on everything. How quickly can you close?
Well, it's twofold. It depends on the buyer, how quickly they're getting documents to me. If I ask you for something, you getting it back to me like that, it's easy, right? But if I have to fight you and include your realtor on text messages and emails with me asking for things and you're not sending them back to me, then I'm letting them know, look, this is going to delay the process. Now, at the same time, right now in this market, appraisals are kicking our butt.
Yes.
It's hit or miss. Like, again, going back to one of the loans, I got a same day approval with 2 loans that should have been closing at what's the day? Should be closing on Wednesday, right? Would have been closing on Wednesday. Two same day approvals, which would have been 15-day closings. But the appraisal on one, they did it after 2 weeks. The other is not going to happen for another week. So it all depends on the appraisal right now. And it's like I said, it's almost the luck of the draw and figuring out if you're going to get you a good one, you'll get a bad one. But in terms of how fast I can close, I've had some. Let's see, I had a USDA close in 2 weeks. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my board too, by the way. So okay. I had not USDA, a VA loan closed in 2 weeks. I'm talking about stuff for this month. A refi that closed in 3 weeks, and a week of that was us waiting on him. And I got a couple of other loans that closed last week. They were 21 and 24 days. So, I mean, all my closes are actually in under 30 days.
Okay. I forgot what I had to ask you.
I'm sorry. I'm just long.
Oh, no, it's okay. It's okay. So I do want to say this. Guys, everybody that's listening and logged in, if you are looking to buy, contact me, contact him, and let him know. Demont, I do have one more question for you. As far as VA loans, we're going to talk about that next month. It's VA loans and USDA loans. Do you do those VA loans?
I do everything.
VA loans, Texas vet.
Yes, ma'am. I do everything. I got a loan for just about any homeowner out there. Now, I may not have done it before, and I will be honest and tell you, I've never done this type of loan before, but I got a lender for you.
Okay.
But as far as VA, USDA, I do a lot of VAs. Yes.
Okay. So what I want you to do now, we have 5 minutes left. If there are any more questions out there, put your questions on the screen. But what I want you to do is, again, your name, your phone number. You can put it in the feed as well to let people know, where you're located, the company you work for, and just, tell them how long that you've been in the business. We forgot to introduce that at the beginning.
No worries. Okay. My name again is Mont Mathis. I am a senior loan originator with Nexa Mortgage. I've been in the business for well over 20 years. I've done some of everything. Ironically enough, Ken, the Waffle guy, and I used to work together. We were underwriters together at Chase.
The Waffle Man.
Yeah, the Waffle Man. Yeah, we were underwriters together at Chase. So that's my guy. But I've done everything in the mortgage industry that you can think of. So when you're dealing with someone like myself, you're dealing with someone who's going to take his time and is going to treat you like I would want someone to treat my wife, my mother, my brother, my sister, my uncle, my cousin, the whole nine. I ask for a lot of stuff up front because I pre-underwrite my files up front. I'd rather us have a task getting everything in the beginning, but then when we get down to the closing, it's smooth sailing. Because I'm a worst case scenario thinker. So a lot of times you're going to ask me a question, I'm going to give you a worst case scenario answer, simply because I don't want to give you best case and then something happens. Because in this industry, in our industry, we don't control everything. We're waiting on other different entities. Right. So people, somebody may not work as hard as I work, meaning the appraiser, meaning the title company or this or that, the listing agent or the buyers, whoever, right? They may not work as hard as I work. So again, I try to base everything off of worst case scenario to give you a fresh shot of having a full understanding of everything that we're doing. And I keep my phone on 24/7 because that's my lifeline. So I tell my clients, I'm not 8 to 5, 9 to 6. I'm 24/7. I work on Saturdays. I work on Sundays. You text me at church. I text you back, I call you when I get out of service. But I'm open simply because I don't want you to have to wait on Monday morning to get an answer for something that you need on a Sunday or especially doing a Cowboy game. I answer my phone during the Cowboy game. Imagine that, right? Imagine that.
If they're honest with you in the beginning, you'll let them know up front. When they try to be go around the curve, just let them know everything comes out. You can't hide anything when you applying for a house because they pull up everything. Stuff that you thought was not on your credit is still there, So
They do.
they have to be honest with you up front.
I tell them to treat me like I'm your attorney. Tell me everything because I might have a way to get around what you're looking at.
Yes. Again, guys, I want to he'll be back next month, and next month when he comes back, he'll probably touch up on the FHA and the conventional loans. But next month we're going to dig deep into the VA loans and like the USDA loan. So that's what we're going to do. His information is in there. Make sure you all contact him. I am Labrita Dews. I'm a realtor. My phone number is 817-975-9284. And I am the owner of KLS Realty Group, brokered by Ready Real Estate. So if you don't have a realtor and you're looking to buy, or if you just have questions right now, just give me a call and I'll do everything I can to make things work. And if you still want to talk to me first, and then I'll send you over to Demont. Just make sure if you do call him and you don't have a realtor, just say podcast and he'll know that it was me. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all, and I will see you all the fourth Monday of every month. Thank you so much. Thank you, Demont, for being
Thank
here.
you.
Next month we'll be back. He'll be, like I said, going over a few things, but we're going to be definitely talking about VA loans and Texas vet loans and USDA loans. Welcome and thank you again. I appreciate everyone for listening. Again, you can call me at 817-975-9284. If there are any more